In the past few years, we've been scaling a lot of fashion brands, we spend a lot of money on meta ads, and in this video guys I want to show you how it's possible right now, post-Andromeda, to still get very high return on ad spend, as you can see right now on the screen. And we've seen a couple of things changing in terms of like how you need to structure that account now, what type of creatives works now, especially post-Andromeda, rather than things that, were working just before. I will be starting from the foundation and giving you guys some advices on things that you must fix outside from the Facebook advertising first, and then show you guys the exact Facebook ad structure that we use, the creative strategy, and some of the creatives that are working right now that you definitely need to try if you own a clothing brand. And I guess that's it for the intro. Let me just jump straight into it. Cool, so guys, again, in this video I want to show you how to scale Facebook ads specifically for clothing brands, what is working right now for our clients, and the idea you can scale as well with ROAS above 3. In this video I will show exactly why do people buy clothing online, which is a very important foundation for you to understand, how to fix your site and offer first before actually jumping into the Facebook ad account, how to structure your Facebook ads for testing, and of course how to scale Facebook ads as well, and the best creatives that convert right now specifically for clothing brand. And what I'm going to show in this video are strategies that actually works for different level of spending. As you can see, we'll be getting these results for a brand spending between 5 to 10k a month, as well as for brands spending between 10 to 30k a month, as well as for brands spending even like 100k plus per month. So as you can see, a common pattern is that the more you spend on ads in terms of like budget, the less the ROAS will be, but that's okay because ideally you are increasing your overall contribution margins and your overall profits, because this is how you ideally want to scale your clothing brand. You want to ideally target profits, so increase your profits rather than just have a 5x or whatever x ROAS, okay? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is why people actually do buy clothing online. And there are two main reasons. One is the design and aesthetics and quality of the clothes, so the actual, the clothing, and then the community. So people like the aesthetics of your brand, people like the design of your clothes, and people like the quality fit. And this applies for different type of products. There are some brands that are selling just simple t-shirts, but they have a specific fit for a specific audience. And so this is how they'll be able actually to target people that want to buy their product. And other brands, they might just sell the aesthetics of their clothes and the overall style. And on the other side, they have the community. So people buy because they want to feel part of a specific community. I think like very big clothing brand like Represent or Gymshark. People buy because they want to feel part of the community that they've built over time based on their brand overall mission and vision. And if you want to win long term, you actually need both design, aesthetics, quality, and community. So of course you need to produce very good quality clothes. The aesthetics and the design should be good, and you also need to think about building a community around your mission and vision of course your brand. And if you have both, your chances of having a very high return on ad spend on Facebook ads, of course, increase exponentially. Then the second thing is to fix your website and offer first before even jumping into the ads. So starting from your site, you need to make sure that you have a proper sitemap. So basically you need to make sure that it's easy for people to navigate across your site in order to find what they actually want. The product page needs to have a proper structure. This is the structure that I suggest, especially for clothing brand. You want to be short and concise, and make sure that you include photos of your product in different angles, product details, size chart, social proof, reviews, customer photos, and events and community kind of picture or videos or whatever else you have. And then you want to have cross-sell and post-purchase upsell. For cross-sell, things like product page cross-sell, like this fit well with, or complete your outfit, or just have some cross-sell within the cart page. It can be a sliding cart or just a cart page. And then you also have post-purchase upsell. After someone buys, you want to give them a chance to buy another product to complete the outfit with a special offer. Now, something very important to mention here is that these two different things are going to improve two main elements that influence directly the actual return on ad spend. The first one is the conversion rate, and the second one is the AOV. So by improving the cross-sell, by having some cross-sell, By having some post-purchase upsell, you're going to increase the AOV. By having a good sitemap, a good UI, UX, and a good and well-structured product page, you're going to increase your conversion rate. And guess what? Both things, of course, are going to increase the Facebook ads ROAS. So going back to the Facebook ads and the juicy part, I would say, I would divide the Facebook ad structure in two main structures. Both work. You just need to understand what works best for your brand based on your goals and based on how many products you have to promote and how many collections you have. So I'm just gonna try to be as much detail as possible here. Anyways, first rule, you don't want to exclude anything and you want to always go broad with the audience. No audience exclusion unless you see the Meta is literally spending like 20-30% of your budget towards existing customers, even though sometimes it's not even a problem if your target is ROAS, because if you cannot convert these people through email, then why not convert them again with Meta if you sell them a complementary product of something that they've bought in the past. For instance, they buy a t-shirt, now they can buy a hoodie, and probably you cannot have this conversion if you just think about retention and email marketing, because most likely you're not going to reach all people that you want to reach. Anyways, this is the first structure here. You want to have one campaign, one ad set. So the first campaign actually is one campaign, one ad set, broad, dynamic catalog, all products. The goal of this campaign here is to ideally make sure that this campaign could be scalable over time, because dynamic catalog ads can be scalable. But your goal here is to find new bestseller and ideally what product works in different seasons of the year, because something that usually happens is that there are specific months, or for instance you launch new products and then there are new products that works, or that specific product that works very well during specific time of the year. And so by having a catalog ad, you will be able to understand what kind of products are working in this specific time of the year, and then you can create specific campaign just for the product, so you can scale and create more creatives ideally. Then the second campaign, the goal is to test and scale best sellers to multiple audiences. And then here you have two options. You can do it in ABO or you can do it in CBO. And this is why what kind of split I recommend you to do. So this campaign, ABO or CBO, and then you want to have one ad set with different products within the same ad set. Each ad set split by AOV range. Why? Because when you run ads, ideally, and then you do the automatic bidding, that bidding is called lowest cost, highest volume. That means that Meta is going to spend more money, more budget towards creatives that they can give you the lowest cost with the biggest audience. That's why when your creatives are top of funnel, very unaware, they usually get more spent, not just the one that get to the lowest cost. But anyways, what happened now is that if you put different products from different AOBs with different price point inside the same ad set, Meta is most likely going to spend most of the budget toward the product with the lowest AOV. Because most likely Meta can give you a lower CPA, so a lowest cost to acquire that specific purchase or that specific customer. And so Meta is most likely not going to spend towards higher AOV products. That's why you want to split them. And that's why I say here you can even run CBO, and ideally what you want to do, you want to split CBO by price point. So you're going to have one CBO with one of different ad set for a specific AOV, then another CBO for another AOV, and so on. But then things will get very complicated if you're going to target different markets, unless you want to have multiple markets in the same in the same campaign. This is another important thing to mention. For some clients, we do split campaign by markets. For others, we don't. So the campaign has actually the chance to optimize towards the entire 24 hours. It's actually good to have more countries sometimes, because for instance during the day you can optimize towards the US market, and during the night you can optimize towards the Australian market or European market. So having one campaign with multiple countries sometimes is even like a very good choice. So we highly recommend to test that and see what works for you. One of the most important thing here is that you need to have between 20 to 60 creatives. Now, for some ad account, you might have a limit of 50 ads per single ad set. Others, they don't have this limit. So just trying to understand what you can do. If it's 50 is the maximum, just try to put as many creatives as you possibly can. Your goal here is to basically use only bestsellers. So you don't want to put all the products that you have. You ideally want to keep only your bestseller products within this campaign here. They don't need to be like the top 2 or 3 bestseller, because different people can buy different things. And so you need to have diversity in terms of like how many products you promote. And so you want to have different ads for different products within the same ad set. And that's why you want to go for ABO, because you don't want Meta, if it's a CBO and you split by AOB, Meta is going to spend towards the lowest AOB. And yeah, this is basically how you want to split. And then what you can do, this campaign is how you actually scale, but we'll go into this actually later. And then you have another campaign which is a bid cap, and then you want to have one bid cap campaign for each A or B range that you have. Ideally, you want to do it for the highest ROAS. If your target is ROAS, you want to have a bid cap. You want to find the best bid cap for that A or B range of product you're testing. For instance, the reason why you want to also split by bid cap is because if you're selling an A or B of 100, probably your bid cap, like your target cost per result, your bid, is going to be like 30. Because if you want to have a 3x ROAS, then you want to have a 30 cost cap here. But then inside this one, so with an AOV of 150, you probably want to have a bid cap of 50, because you can now allow Meta to spend more money to get you higher value in terms of like AOV, because your products cost more, and so they need to spend more. And this is how you want to split. And that's why also you want to split by different campaign and one bid cap campaign per single AOV range. And then ideally you want to have 6 to 15 winning ads inside, one ad set only. If you have new ads, just put them within the existing ad set, or you can still create new ad set, why not? But my favorite thing to do in these cases is most likely to put new creatives inside the existing ad set, because Meta will then automatically distribute the budget based on the best performing creative. The second option here is that you basically keep everything the same. Like in terms of campaign number 1, you have one campaign, catalog broad, dynamic catalog or products, and then the campaign number 2 is where the difference actually happen. So in this campaign, it's going to be a CBO, and you have an ad set for different collection or different products. Ideally are the best collection that you have or the best selling products. You still want to have as many creatives as possible within each single ad set. And now there is a problem with this type of campaign. Where is the problem? The problem is that this might have the risk of having a lower ROAS. Why? Because Meta is most likely not going to spend to the ad set that is going to bring you the highest ROAS, but the lowest cost. So if you have an ad set, collection 1 or product 1, that is giving you a 20 CPA, but a 2x ROAS, then you have campaign or ads, in this case ad set number 3 that is giving you a 50 CPA but a 3x ROAS, Meta is most likely going to spend more budget towards campaign number 1 because that has the lowest cost and most likely also the highest volume. So that's very important for you guys to understand. So this approach is a bit more risky, but works in terms of like organization, so you can even give it a try. It's very difficult to give you a precise structure that works for every brand. You need to understand what works specifically for you based on your brand. So I want to give you here some direction and how you guys need to think, because the way that you think is much more important than just copying what I'm saying or whatever else you guys watch on YouTube is saying. And in this case, you want to have a bid cap, different collection for different products. And since in this case you're not splitting by A or B anymore, then you can just have this bid cap with different assets, with different product collection that you take ideally from this case here when you find the winning product or the winning collection, then put all the creatives inside. You don't want to have so many creatives inside here. Ideally, you want to keep them around 6 to 15. Active creative. Don't create an ad set or a campaign with 1 or 2 creatives inside active. It's not really ideal after Meta Andromeda. So really, I see sometimes brands that have like one campaign with 1 creative inside, or like 3, 4, 5 creative inside. You need at least 6 to 15 is like, it's like the ideal scenario. So yeah, don't be that brand. And yeah, that's basically it for the structure. The next thing is how to scale your Facebook ads. So the scaling here happen in different scenarios. So the scaling happen partially in the first part, which is the first type of campaign, which is the dynamic catalog ad. This campaign sometimes works very well for you guys. You wanna, of course, look at this campaign, and if you see the ROAS is good, you basically increase the budget. The main rule here is that you wanna increase the budget by 20-30% every 2 days if the ROAS is above your target. And this is how you scale. Very slow, very steady, unless you see a huge increase on ad spend. For instance, you see that you launch a new product, things are just going well, then what you want to do in this case is, of course, you can even double the budget. So let's say you spend, you have a budget of $200 per day, product number A, 1 campaign or 1 ad set, whatever, ROAS is 6, your target is 3, just double the budget. And then you can double until the performance goes to like 3.8. And then at that point, you want to slow down a little bit, the increasing, then go back to increasing by 20-30%. The main scaling is happening in this phase here. Why? Because you want to scale both the ABO, where you have all the product and collections, or CBO in this case, but also you want to have the bid cap, which give you a controlled scaling. Why? Because with the bid cap, and that's the reason why I would rather prefer the bid cap if you want to have more control over the ROAS rather than a cost cap. The bid cap, usually 99% of the time, unless there is some problem with Meta, they don't spend, this type of campaign, they don't spend budget if the CPA cannot meet the target. So if you put a target of 20 and you put a budget of like 1,000 per day, Meta is never going to spend like 1,000 a day in one day with a 300 CPA. Most likely, it's not going to happen. Happened to me only once actually, but there was a problem with Meta, because then I saw there was like a problem with ad delivery on Meta. They post even like on Twitter and this kind of thing, so that's definitely correlated. Usually it doesn't happen. While with cost cap can happen, because cost cap look at the 7 days window or even like a longer time frame. And so what can happen is that in some days can spend more, with the idea that in the future they will spend more but a lower target, and like ideally this campaign should balance over time, but doesn't always happen. So that's why I would prefer bid cap. And then the way that you scale is just by having a big budget inside the bid cap, because again, you are controlling the spending, and so you can have basically a budget of like your entire ad account. So let's say here you're spending 100 a day, here you're spending 500 a day, so 600 a day in total. Here you can have 600 a day each, even like 1K per day. Start with not a huge budget, so don't put like 5K a day all of a sudden in here, because you want to understand first the winning bid cap, and second you want to understand if Meta actually doesn't spend, because if it happens you put a 5K per day, it's gonna be very problematic. So start with like 500 a day, 600 per day, maximum 1,000 per day, see how things goes, even less budget. See how things goes, find the winning cap. When you see Meta start spending all the budget or towards the end, you can increase. So if you put a budget of 500 per day and you see Meta spending 400, around 400 per day with your target cap. So if you put a cap of 20 and Meta is spending 400 a day, over 500 a day daily budget that you give it, like 18, 14, or even like similar 20 cap, then means that it's good. So you can increase the budget even like 1,000 a day or 2,000 per day. Try to increase by 500 or like 1,000 each. Just don't go too crazy first. Yeah, and this is basically how the scaling is happening. When it comes to budget increasing, the 20-30% rule is most likely applied to this specific campaign here. So you can treat each different AOB either as a separate ad set or as a separate campaign. That is most likely up to you guys and how you prefer managing things. Of course, if you have a specific campaign, so for instance, you have a specific campaign for each specific AOB, inside that you can have different ad sets specific for different AOBs or different collection or different products, or you can have just one single ad set with all the different products for different collection inside. It doesn't matter because the optimization happen now at the ad creative level, so each ad creative has its own targeting. So it doesn't matter if you put different angle, different products within the same ad set or not. Meta is basically going to treat the delivery of each single ad set and send each ad set to different people based on your ad, not based on the ad set. That's why you want to have a broad targeting, and you don't want to be specific. Now, something actually very important to mention is the retargeting strategy. You can have some retargeting ads, especially like catalog work very well, dynamic catalog for cross-sell and post-purchase upsell, as well as some creatives as well. In general, like static ads, video ads, they work in terms of retargeting, but you will most likely 99% of the time see a very high ROAS for retargeting, but you will not see a very scalable audience overall. Because Meta nowadays does retargeting already within this campaign. That's why I'm telling you to don't exclude anyone. Because if you don't exclude, Meta is actually going to retarget people with different ads. So let's say you have in one ad set all products. To the people that have already bought product number 1, Meta will show product number C, D, or whatever. And this is how the automatic dynamic retargeting is done already. So you don't necessarily have to split, but if you want to see that higher ROAS with more controlled spending, then you can split into retargeting. But I don't actually suggest that. The fifth part is actually the best creatives that convert for clothing brand. Now, something to mention here is that you need to find what works specifically for you, for your niche and for your brand based on USP, unique selling proposition of your product. Because different clothing brands, they have different kind of USPs overall. So you might push a lot the design of the product, some other brands might push the quality, other brands might push the community, and you need to understand what kind of things works for brands similar to yours, and then you want to fit and adapt what is working in terms of concept to your brand specifically. There is a free research method I'm going to show you today, but actually very recent from Meta, because basically right now Meta is telling us already what creatives are working. You don't even need any tool anymore, because you can just go on Meta, go to the ad library, filter by kind of best performer. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So basically, again, find your competitor, go on meta ad, and this is basically the ad library. And then what you will see here, you go to sort by, and then you will see something like this: impression high to low. And this is basically already filtered by winners. As you can see here, it's not filtered by date. This is launched 7th of January, this is launched 4th of January, 5th of January, and I was checking these ads, I think in like 25th of January. So these are already filtered by best performing, because this is a pre-selected filter already. So the moment that you upload the ad library, this is already filtered by best performers. Highest amount of impression, highest reach, meta spend more budget, it means most likely they are winner. Now you need to understand why they're winner. They're winner because of the product, winner because of the offer, winner because of the creative. So don't just copy the creative itself. Think like, oh, like if you copy that creative, that you should not copy, by the way, but let's say you copy that creative, is it gonna work for you because of the creative, or probably the brand is doing well because they have a better landing page, or they have a better offer, or you know, they have a better product overall. So you need to consider this as well. Let me show you now some example of creatives that are actually working very well. I got some examples here, so let's just go through them one by one. So the first one is actually the aesthetics one. Aesthetics is basically you want to show some picture of your product within a specific style and specific environment. Let's say you're selling product. I don't think I have some example for this one, but you know, it's something like this. Let's say you're selling a specific product for the old money audience, more like vintage, these kind of things. Then what you want to do, I want to show a photo of an influencer or like a creator or whatever within a specific setting that to recall the old money, thing like palace, you know, these kind of things. You don't want to show someone like modern city, this kind of stuff, right? The second thing is attractive reactions, and this works for different brands based on like what you're selling, but usually it works best for brand that the USP is based on the fit. For instance, like girl reaction to t-shirt, like to how t-shirt fits for men, or men reaction to how leggings fit for women, basically these kind of things. I'm giving you a broad understanding of what is working, but then you need to adapt for your brand, because if you have a luxury brand, most likely you cannot do like you can still do reaction, but not that kind of leggings reaction, you know, this kind of stuff. So yeah, just keep it in mind. Then you have emotional connection, which is basically win over her with this elegance, you know, this kind of thing. So you want to put the actual things within the emotional connection of people and be like where people buy your clothes. This is the emotional connection. Then you have the aesthetics call out. So here what you want to do, you want to call out the target audience and be like, oh, this is a inspiration top for the, you know, all the old money, and then you show the top with a simple video in different angles. So photos, videos, different angles. The creator is moving, is showing like side of the top, the front and the back. Then you have audience style call out plus outfit, which is very similar to this. The only difference is that they're selling you the entire outfit. So for instance, how to dress like old money, yes. And then what you're gonna see here is that they're gonna show the entire outfit, and they're gonna sell you as well an entire outfit. So when you go on their site, you're not just going to buy the single product, so this trouser here, but you're also gonna buy, for instance, the shirt, because you see the outfit. And sometimes people even like they don't know how to match clothes together in terms of like how to style the outfit overall. So by suggesting them an outfit and showing them the outfit in action is actually a very good idea. Sometimes, actually most of the time, works very well. Then you have this kind of image here, which I would call like a brand image. This is not the perfect example, but the main topic here is that you basically want to have a very elegant image, studio style, that really going to improve your brand image. So this is like more polished, more elegant, not necessarily going to convert, but depends also on your target audience, because if you're targeting a luxury audience, then most likely you probably don't want to show some creative like this. You want to have a more elevated kind of creatives, okay? Then you have the founder story and the behind the scene or mission of the brand. Here you basically show there is a founder talking about the brand, the quality of the product, this kind of stuff, which is very good, especially for middle of funnel. And all the product aware people that already know your product, and they want to hear the founder story just to have their perspective on the actual product and everything that took to build the brand. And then finally you have the collection. So this is actually very important, because what you do here, you show the main product here, and then you show different outfit with the specific product, or you can show one main product, then you can show different product or the specific collection. Those are like called collection ads. Then this is actually very important. This is actually a type of creative is working very well. Basic clothing on the ground. Don't know why, but this picture works like crazy. You just put your clothes on the ground and like this, and you do just like a top shot, so a picture from above. You can put copy, you can even don't put copy at all. Yeah, these type of creatives are working very well. Then you have UGC photos. They are like very simple photos, and the more creatives you get with this, actually the better. So for instance, this is a very creative image if you think about it. It's not like simple like this one. Here is kind of tricky because you see this guy with the pink hair, see the text on the back of the t-shirt, and then this guy is holding this so you can actually see himself on the phone. So it's kind of weird, kind of can stop the scroll. So that's actually something, but the overall concept here is to have the UGC looking kind of picture. iPhone shot, very simple. Then you have the split screen. So split screen, basically you want to have a picture of your main cloth, and then you want to have a different kind of model or different kind of angles of the same product, like in different kind of fits. So for instance, like a picture of the arm, one of the neck, whatever else your product is actually focusing on. Then you have the offer ads. Here you basically want to focus on the offer. You can use different kind of things, like for instance a single image, or like a split screen. Or like here you basically have a grid and show usually the product and how the product actually fit. Then finally you have eye catching. So the eye catching are basically all those ads that are out of the standard, out of the ordinary, and those are ads that usually people stop the scroll because it's like, there is something weird. So this guy here, of course people will be like, okay, this guy is with a t-shirt, and then he's wearing the boxes here, and then also in this image here, this t-shirt is all destroyed, and so it's like, what is going on? And then if you match it with a very smart headline, our t-shirt won't break, neither will your bank, is actually a good way to deliver a concept. So it's like, never breaks, and so I'm gonna show you the t-shirt, all broken and everything. But the overall concept here is that you buy a t-shirt with a very good quality at an amazing price. But it's a smart way to deliver that message with the visual and the copy. And this is important. When you do something creative, don't think just about the copy itself. Remember, the visual that you use must always be connected to the headline and to the message that you deliver within the specific creative. And for this video, that's actually it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave your comments below. I'll do my best to reply to everyone as usual. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.